Hi guys, this is Vincent Njao from Vince Fitness team. We have a new show, we call it the Vince Fitness Podcast, and our aim is to educate, inform, and entertain our clients. This podcast is client-centric. Our aim is to empower and help the clients because we believe there is a huge gap between clients, fitness, and trainers. So we want to clarify for you to know what you need and what you don't need. Basically, is breaking down your goals and making it easier for you as you pursue fitness and health. Welcome once again. It's Vincent Njao, and today our guest is DEDAN Miricho, and today we are going to break down running. We want to understand how to master running. It has been a mystery to so many people. So many people want to run, but they don't know how to do it, how to start, and how to go about it. So today, basically, we brought in a very experienced, he's a trainer. Actually, he's an American Council of Exercise certified. He's a personal trainer. He's a recreational runner. He's been running for a while. He's a level 1 running coach certified by the Road Runners Club of America, right?
Yes.
He's done Chicago Marathon. His best time was 2:58 minutes. Half marathon at 1 hour 26 minutes.
26 minutes, yes.
And 10 kilometers at 38 seconds, right?
38
minutes.
37 minutes, 38 seconds.
38 seconds.
Yes.
So you can imagine 10 kilometers in a duration of less than 40 minutes. That's how good he is. So DEDAN, thank you so much for coming, and kindly introduce yourself, what you do, and
thank you very much, Vince, for inviting me. My name is DEDAN Miricho. First, I'm a recreational runner. I have been running for the last 10 years. Actually, yeah, about 10 years. I'm also a marathon runner.
Nice.
I've done a couple of marathons. I think right now maybe 7 or 8 marathons, both locally.
Okay.
Yeah, locally and internationally. The Stanchart Marathon, I've done it the full marathon, I've done it 3 times. I've done Kilimanjaro Marathon.
Oh, nice.
Down in TZ 3 times. Internationally, I have done Cape Town Marathon.
Cape Town, oh.
Yes, I did Cape Town Marathon, full marathon in 2019.
Okay.
My time back then when I did the Cape Town Marathon was 3 hours, 14 minutes.
Oh.
And then COVID happened, so in between 2020 and 2021, there were no races, no major races.
Oh, okay. Oh, the COVID period.
Yeah, during the COVID period.
Okay.
So during the COVID period, we could just do normal running, but there are no major races. But then I had gotten Chicago Marathon in 2020 with the international marathons. We call them the majors: the Boston, Chicago, New York, Berlin, Tokyo. You ballot. You send your application. You ballot. When it comes to balloting, there are 2 ways you can get in. You can get in using qualifying time.
Okay. Oh, there's a specific qualifying time.
Yes.
Okay. What's the qualifying time for the most races?
The qualifying time is usually based on age.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
for for Chicago, you find between age of 35 to 40. If you are a male, you need to have a certain time. Let's say, for example, you must have finished a marathon in 3 hours 15 minutes.
Oh,
yes.
Sub 3 hours or sub 4.
You for you to qualify.
Yeah.
If you're at the age of 35 to 40. You need to have done another marathon and finish that marathon in at least 3 hours, 15 minutes
to
3 hours, 10 minutes.
You
must have finished a marathon between 3:10 and 3:15.
3:15.
3 hours 10 minutes.
Oh, it's 3:50, not 3:50.
No, 3:15.
Okay.
Yeah, you must have finished between 3 hours and 3 hours
15 minutes.
Yes.
Oh.
So when you ballot and you have achieved that time in a marathon, the past 1 year from when you're applying, then you get automatic qualification.
Okay.
But then if you don't get to the majors using the automatic qualification, then you might go into the ballot where they pick random people to participate.
Okay.
So for me, luckily I got Chicago in 2020 through the qualifying time.
Okay.
Because my time in Cape Town was in between the qualifying, was a qualifying time basically.
Okay.
So now 2020 I got my Chicago Marathon qualification. I applied for Chicago and I got my position to go to Chicago. But now because of COVID, we could not go in 2020. It was cancelled.
Okay.
So now 2020, 2021, the same thing because of COVID. I chose not to redeem my entry because what happened after it was cancelled in 2020, we were given 3 years in which you can redeem our entries. So I redeemed my entry in 2020. So last year in October, I went to Chicago, did the marathon, and finished in a sub-3 time.
Impressive, eh?
Very, very.
Hey, impressive. Actually, it's sub-3 hours.
Sorry. Yeah, so it was 2 hours, 58 minutes.
58 minutes.
33 seconds.
33 seconds.
Yes.
Nice.
So that was my time in Chicago.
Okay.
Yeah, so, yeah.
And the half marathon? Where did you do the half marathon?
The half marathon, my personal best time for half marathon, I did it at in 2020, actually, 2020 before I went, 2020 in May. That's when I did the 1 hour 26 minutes.
Yeah.
It was at the expressway, Nairobi Expressway Run.
Okay.
Yeah, it's called the Nairobi City Marathon. The run that we did on the expressway. I
remember.
Yes.
And the 10K run?
10K run, my personal best, I achieved it at Nyayo.
Nyayo Stadium?
Inside
Nyayo Stadium?
Inside Nyayo Stadium.
Nice.
Yes.
Hey, that's nice. Impressive.
Yeah, thank you.
I remember mine, I did my first start at marathon.
Yes.
I was weighing 69 kilos. I was at my best.
Yes.
I did 45, 15, 26. 45 minutes.
45 minutes.
After that, the last time I attempted to do a 10K run, it was 58 minutes. Apparently, I was nowhere near the 40 minutes or the below the 50 minutes cap.
Okay.
But I managed 58 minutes. But hopefully, I'm planning to be at least running twice a week.
Okay.
Hopefully, I'll try and see because now I've healed. Just from a rehab. My knee had an issue, but now I'm okay.
Okay.
So Dedan, tell us during the day you're.
During the day, I'm in IT.
Okay.
So I do user support.
Okay.
IT stuff, networking, infrastructure. That's my 8 to 5.
Okay.
And then now after that, I am, apart from now being a recreational runner, I'm also a running coach and a fitness trainer.
Okay.
I am certified by ACE. ACE is the American
Council of Exercise.
Yeah. I'm a personal trainer by ACE. Last year, I was able to do a certification by Road Runners Club of America.
That's a big club.
Yes,
I've heard about it.
Yes,
yes. Hey, that's impressive.
Road Runners Club is the main organization that coordinates and combines all the running clubs in the States.
Okay.
Yes, the States has now the elite. The elite runners are under what we call the organization called the U.S. Track and Field. Okay. That one is the main organization for the elite runners. Now, when it comes to recreational running, Road Runners Club of America is organization that now brings around all recreational running activities and clubs in America.
Oh, okay. Do we have such clubs in Kenya?
Currently,
Similar to.
Currently in Kenya, we don't have such such an organization. When it comes to recreational running in Kenya, I can say we are still in our infancy.
Okay.
Actually, if you compare, Kenya is known for the elite runners, not so much for recreational running.
Yeah.
Yes, we are widely known for elite running.
Elite runners.
Actually, other countries like the US, US recreational running is big.
It's bigger than the.
It's big, way bigger than
athletes.
even the elite.
Elites, okay.
If you go to countries like South Africa down here, the recreational running community is big.
Okay.
That's why South Africa has major races like the Comrades. I don't know if they've heard of the Comrades, called Comrades Ultra Marathon. It's one of the major ultra marathons that happens actually in the world. In the world. Yes.
And recently, I don't know, they did like 100-kilometer race or something in SA. I don't remember.
SA has very many races. The major one being the Comrades. Comrades is 89 kilometers.
89.
Yes. There's another one called the Two Oceans. Two Ocean Marathons happens in April. It's 56 kilometers.
56.
Yes. We have the Sanlam Marathon, and there are very many other major races in South Africa. Okay. So South Africa has a very huge recreational running community. Even cycling, triathlon, it's very huge in SA. Even Tanzania down here, Tanzania has more marathons than Kenya.
Oh,
their running community is quite huge.
Okay.
Like last month we went for the Kilimanjaro Marathon. Kilimanjaro Marathon, I can say, is the biggest marathon in East Africa.
In East Africa. Yes. Oh, it's bigger than the one we do, the Stanchart.
It is
Beyond Zero.
Bigger than Stanchart. The whole of Nairobi goes to
Kili.
To Moshi. Yeah, to Kili. Kili happens in Moshi. Goes to Moshi in Feb. South Africans come all the way from South Africa to race to come and do the Kilimanjaro Marathon. It's actually, like they say, it was sold out. Yeah, it was sold out a month before the race. Yes.
Okay. So, even I think the way they organized, it was well organized.
Very well organized. So when it comes to recreational running in Kenya, we still have a long way to go. Yes.
Hopefully we can get there.
We are getting there. But there's still a lot that we need to work on. Yes. Yes.
Dedan, how did you start running? What really inspired you to start running? Or is it God given? Are you talented?
Actually, I always tell people I am not talented. I am not talented. I always say you're a fitness trainer, so you know the body types.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, all the body types. Me, my body type is not the people who run are the ectomorphs.
Ectomorphs, yeah, most of them.
Yes,
ectomorphs.
Yeah, so ectomorphs, yeah. So me, I'm an endomorph. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. So running is not something that has always been in me. Actually, when I was in high school, when guys were going for cross country, I used to get sick.
Yeah.
Yes. Because I used to be the last.
Deliberately getting sick.
Yes, deliberately getting sick. As in running was something I could not
do.
How
did you hack it? What happened?
Okay. What happened? Wow. I think at some point in life, when you realize you need to take charge of your health, you start looking for something to do.
Options, yeah.
Options. And where I was staying back then, I was staying in Imara Daima.
Oh, okay.
In Imara Daima, there's a pitch.
There's
a pitch. There used to be a pitch. I don't know whether it's still there. So, yeah, one day I decided, let me just go and do a few laps. Started doing a few laps. You go there, do like 2-3 laps. You feel like your heart wants to come out. But then now I kept on going. And then after that, I started hiking. I started hiking. I used to hike a lot.
Mm.
I've done Mount Kenya a couple of times. I've done all the major hikes. I can say the Aberdares. I've also done Mount Kenya. I've done Mount Kilimanjaro twice.
Okay.
I've done Mount Meru in TZ.
That's a tough one.
Yeah, it's a tough one. And then I've done Mount Rwenzori in Uganda.
Okay. So
yeah. So I was doing a lot of hiking, but then after I did Rwenzori, that was a very, very tough climb. I gave out
steep?
Very, very steep. At some point, you even need to use the crampons because it's
And how's the weather? Raining.
That was bad.
Bad.
Raining, snowing.
Hiking and raining at the same time makes it worse.
It was a tough climb. So when I did Rwenzori, I think I felt like I've done the 3 toughest mountains. And I needed a new challenge.
Okay.
Yeah. So I remember after I did Rwenzori, I gave out my gear.
Hey.
Yes.
Everything.
I gave my gear to the porters and the guides. I think the only thing I came back with in Nairobi, Rwenzori is in Uganda. He's on the border of Uganda and DRC. I think the only thing I came back with was my sleeping bag.
Wow.
The rest of the gear, shoes, everything I gave out to. It was a tough climb, so I think in my mind I knew I don't think I want to do another
hike
climb like that. So that's how I gave my gear, and then now
you started running.
Started now running more seriously. I started more seriously, and then now that's when now clubs. I can say clubs in Nairobi started coming up.
Yeah, I've noticed for the last actually since COVID up to now.
Yes.
There's so many running clubs coming up, and actually they're doing a really good job. Because they're registering a good number of members.
Yes, yes. So now I joined. Back then there was a club that used to be called Medal Hunters. So what we used to do is to go for runs that have medals.
Oh.
So you go
Medal Hunters.
Yes. We used to call ourselves Medal Hunters. So there's a run organized somewhere. You go run, get the medal, you go home.
The only clubs I know of, I know Abanswara.
Yes.
And I think Team Jasho.
Yes.
And I know about David.
Yes.
Something to do.
Yeah, Fitness with David. Yes.
Because I used to see him at First Power doing some strength training.
Yes.
With some runners.
Yes. So now, after some point, medal hunting somehow it got now when COVID started. Now, of course, medal hunting somehow went down. But I was also part of a club called Team Jasho. So between that time of medal hunting, Team Jasho, that's when now I started running a lot, and running became part of life basically. Yes. Okay. So running became a day-to-day thing. So
for let me ask you, Dedan.
Yes.
For someone who is looking to start their running, not necessarily career,
yes,
but journey,
yes,
they want to master their running,
yes,
can they do it on their own, or they need to join a club? What do you think? I know times have changed. Yes. In our time,
yes,
maybe we could have done it alone.
Yes.
And hacked it.
Yes.
But now there's so many things that can help you achieve that goal of running or mastering how to run.
Yes.
Do you need, what do you think? Do it alone or join a club?
You don't need to join a club.
You don't need to?
You can run on your own.
Okay.
Yes. And first you need to, what I always say, running is like, how can I put it? Running is like any other activity or any other project that you can come up with. And it all starts in the mind. You have to be ready to run. Yeah. The good thing about running is the roads are free.
Yeah, they are free. And you can run anytime.
You can run anytime.
Evening.
Morning, evening. All you need to do is to have a a good shoe and a good your t-shirt, your top, and your bottoms.
Okay.
Of course, you need to have the right
Gear.
gear. Yes. No running with cotton. Don't run with cotton. Cotton is moisture wicking, so when you run with cotton, it doesn't dry up easily.
Okay.
So now when it comes to running, you need to have the right gear. You need to have the materials like what we call the polyester. Polyester. The spandex. You see, like this one. This one, if you run and you sweat, within a few minutes, it has dried.
Okay.
With cotton, you run with cotton. Takes a lot of time to dry, and it sticks to your skin. Yes.
Makes it uncomfortable, or you become cold.
You become cold.
Okay.
Because it doesn't. What you call it, moisture wicking. So when you run with it, it doesn't dry up easily.
Okay.
Yes. With the polyester material, we call the polyester spandex. All this synthetic material. When you run, after a few minutes,
they dry
out. Yes.
Okay. So also, you mentioned shoes. One of the most important gear.
Yes.
You need to have.
You need to have good shoes.
What will you recommend? What kind of quality should people look at?
Yes.
That is specifically for running.
What I say about shoes. Number one, you need to find out. The number one thing is you need to find out where you're running.
Okay.
Because they are trail running shoes. And they are road running shoes.
Okay.
Yes.
Oh.
Trail running shoes are sturdier.
Oh, okay.
For control and balance. Road running shoes are not.
The density is thick.
Yes, the sole. The sole for trail running shoes is it has more studs.
Okay.
Because if you're running on a trail like, let's say, Karura, you need more of control and balance. Yeah.
Okay.
When you're landing, on a trail, you need more control and more balance. With road running shoes, like on tarmac, it's soft surface. So you don't need a shoe that has more studs. You just need
you don't need studs.
Yes, studs. Yeah.
The ones for grip,
Grip. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So you don't need that for road running.
For road running, the studs are not as many as for trail.
Okay.
Because you see that the road is smooth.
Smooth and flat, yeah.
Smooth and flat. So all you need is a comfortable shoe that will support you. Yes.
Okay.
So that's always the number one. You need to know, when you're buying a shoe, you need to know the surface you're going to use. If it's a trail.
So there's a specific shoe for a specific terrain.
Yes, terrain. Yes,
so
exactly.
if it's road running,
yes.
Does it need to be flat or like curved? What should we look at for a running shoe on a road running?
Road running, they are more lighter.
Oh, lighter.
They are more lighter. Of course, there has to be cushioning.
Cushioning has to be good.
Yes, good cushioning. But then also when it comes to road running shoes, we have race shoes.
Okay.
And trainers, what we call trainers. Race shoes are very, very, very light. Those ones are for races.
Okay.
Because it's you're racing, so it's all about speed. And then trainers are for day-to-day running.
Okay.
Yeah. Day-to-day running. The shoe needs to be comfortable. Much more cushioning, a bit I can say a bit wider. So you'll have a trainer shoe for day-to-day running. You'll also have a race shoe. Excuse me, for race day and for speed work.
Okay.
And what I always advise someone is to go to a running shop.
A running shop.
Yes.
So okay, you're not supposed to do second-hand running shoes, Not advisable.
You can buy a second-hand shoe, but you need to have the information.
Okay.
To know which shoe you're buying, and why you need to buy the shoe.
Okay.
But if you're not sure, because now the other factor that you need to consider is how do you land?
Okay.
Yeah. There are people who are flat-footed. Yeah. People who are flat-footed, when they land, they tend to bend
on the inside.
Okay.
So
for such a person, you need, we call that pronation. When you pronate, you need a shoe that supports your arc.
Okay.
Because now, normally your arc is when you land, your leg should not bend inside. Because you have the arc. The work of the arc is basically to support you when you're landing.
Okay. So stabilize the foot.
Yes.
Okay.
So if you're flat-footed, it means you land and you tend to cave in. So in such a case, you need a shoe that has like an insole that supports your arc, so that you don't cave in. The other people who overpronate. So when they land on the outer side of their feet.
Oh.
Yeah. For such people now, for them they also need a special shoe. For them to be able to for the shoe to be able to support their feet. Yeah. So you need to know. If you are, and then most people are normal feet.
Okay.
So they don't pronate and overpronate.
Okay.
So that's why it's advisable to go to a specialist shop.
Okay.
Because they have those, they're able to measure and see
what kind of shoe you can wear.
Yes.
And they will recommend.
Yes.
Depending with your
the type of
foot.
Yes, the type of foot. Yes.
Oh, that's how it works.
Yes, that's how
also,
it works.
Dedan, yes. I've realized that all these shoes have mileage.
Yes.
I thought I can wear a shoe for 10 years, but running. I was shocked to realize that there's mileage.
Yes, there's mileage. You find most shoes recommend between, let's say, between around 600 to 800 kilometers. Yes.
Then after that, you do away with it.
After that, you're advised to do away with it.
New or old, you do away with it.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. That's why it's important to have at least 2 or 3 pair of shoes at any one time. You know that the day you're going to do a speed session. This is I can say this is for more of the serious runners who put in mileage. Because for some of us, we put a lot of mileage. You find in a month you're putting maybe around between 300 and 400 kilometers. So in such a case, if you have one shoe, it means your shoe will last for only
2 months.
2 months. But when you have 3 pair of shoes, you have a trainer, maybe you have 2 trainers, and a racing shoe. You know, you can balance the mileage.
You can balance the mileage. Okay.
Yes. So it's always advisable to have 2 or 3 pairs of shoes. Okay. And then you alternate. Yes.
It's good to know that the race shoe is not the trainer shoe. It's good to yes. Even when you go to the shop, to the specialist shops, they will ask you, what kind of a shoe are you looking for? Are you looking for a training shoe? Are you looking for a racing shoe? Are you looking for a trail shoe? They'll advise you on that. And then there are websites that are very, very good in what can I call it? They are good in reviewing shoes. Okay.
Yes. So you can go online. There's a website called Run Repeats. There's a very good website called Run Repeats. If you see a model of a shoe, you can go to Run Repeats and see the reviews. Yes.
I was checking reviews recently.
Yes.
And I realized there's like a Hoka shoe. It's called Hoka.
Hoka, yes.
Very good shoe for running.
Yes, very, very good shoe.
I've never heard of that company, but I've realized even the reviews online,
yes.
It has the highest reviews.
Yes. Actually, Hoka is my favorite shoe. The shoe I've bought recently is a Hoka. It's a Hoka. You can go look out. It's called a Hoka Bondi. Hoka Bondi 8. That's now my day-to-day running shoe. It's a trainer.
It's a trainer.
Yes, it's a trainer day-to-day running shoe. The shoe I use for races, it's called ASICS Hyperspeed.
Okay.
That one I use specifically for races and for speed work. Like when I have a speed work session in Nyayo, that's what I will use.
Okay.
I also have for when it comes to shoes, I always tell people choosing a good shoe is more of an art, not a science. It's an art. And the first thing that should come first, the first things that should always come first is comfort. When you put in that shoe, is it comfortable? That is the first thing. I don't usually go for brands. I go for comfort.
Comfort.
Yes.
Okay.
I have a Hoka shoe, I have a Mizuno shoe, I have an Essex shoe. When I go to the running specialist shop and I want to buy a shoe, I can even test the shoes for even 2 hours. Yes, because I put on a shoe, I get in the treadmill and test it. Yes, I always tell them, bring for me what can fit me, 3 or 4 pairs
to test them out. That's good.
Yes, it's more of an art. You can't say there's a bit of science, but choosing the best shoe is an art.
Okay.
Yes, you need to know what works for you. You need to know your type of foot. Like for me, I know I'm wide feet, so some shoes don't fit me because they are narrow.
Oh.
Yes, there are some certain brands that are narrow. So even when I'm looking for the shoe, I always ask the first thing, is that shoe wide? Because there are those shoes that come with wide specification. So you can find, like for me, I usually wear between 29 and I also, when I'm choosing shoes, I don't go for the 46, the number, the Euro and the US. They give 10, 46. I always go for the Japanese, the centimeters.
Okay.
Yeah, because
what's the difference between the Japanese centimeters and the...
centimeters is
the same.
Centimeters is the same. Eh?
Oh, okay. Centimeters is the same.
It's the same.
Okay.
But you find sometimes the Euro,
there's a
Euro,
big
the
difference,
US, there's a big difference. So when I'm choosing a shoe, I always ask, the first thing I always ask is, what are the centimeters?
Okay.
So you might find I always wear between 29.5 and 30. So the first thing I always ask, is it wide? Because I might find that 29.5
and it's narrow.
Okay. So when I put it on, somehow
you're limited.
Yes, it squeezes me. When it comes to narrow shoes, when you put it on, the mid part is usually not very comfortable.
Okay.
So it fits you, but the mid part of the shoe somehow squeeze your feet.
Okay.
Because it's narrow. So I always go for wide. So always know what type of shoe works for you. Are you narrow feet? Are you wide feet? Are you do you pronate? When you know all that, then when you're choosing a shoe,
it will be easier.
And if you're buying a shoe online, those options are all there. Yes. Okay. They'll ask you, do you overpronate? Do you underpronate? Do you... Yeah. So those are all the options that you need to consider.
So Dedan, in running,
yes,
is there specific warm-up drills or techniques you need to do before a run?
Yes. Yes.
And how long should it be?
Warm-up is always the first thing that you need to do before you go out for a run. The type of warm-up you do depends on the intensity of the run.
Okay.
Like let's say, for example, you're going for an easy run. When you're going for an easy run, what you need to do is what I call the dynamic warm-up. Dynamic warm-up is basically a movement-based kind of warm-up where you do a few exercises that prepares your body and your mind for the run. So you just don't step out of bed and then go out for a run. You need to raise the body temperature. You need to prepare your brain. So you do the dynamic warm up. You do you do things like heel raises, toe raises, knee hugs, You do lunges.
Lunges, I've seen.
Yes, you do a few lunges. Yes. You do basically you mobilize all your joints.
Okay.
And I always tell runners, start from bottom going up.
Okay.
Yeah, it's easier to remember. So you start with your ankles. Mobilize your ankles. Your ankles, you have your feet and your calves, and then come to the knee.
Knees.
the knees, you have your quads and your hamstrings. And then come to the hips, you have
the hip joint,
you have your glutes, and your hip flexors. Mobilize them.
Okay.
And then now you go to the upper body, your arms, mobilize them. So those are small exercises that mobilize your body to be ready for
the run. Okay.
That's for an easy run. So you need to do a dynamic warm up that lasts between maybe 5 to 10 minutes. Making sure that you mobilize every muscle. Okay. Wake up every muscle. Prepare the body. Running is also mental. So you need to alert your nervous system that you are going for an activity. Okay. So dynamic warm up does that.
Okay.
That is when you're going for an easy run. Yes. Now, when it comes to speed work, the days we have speed work, the first thing we do is to do an easy run. Like you have a tempo run or a speed, like what we call the intervals session, the speed sessions. You must start with an easy run, and then after the easy run, you do the dynamic warm up. Sometimes, if you have time, you do what you call the running drills.
Okay.
Yes, those ones now prepare you for the speed session. So the warm up for a speed session is much longer than the warm up for an easy run.
Yes. Okay. So it all depends with the task ahead.
Okay. The task ahead is much more tough. It's a speed session. Then you need to do a bit of a longer warm up. You might find your warm up can even last up to 20 to 30 minutes. And now the speed session can even go up to 1 hour or less. Yes. Yeah. So
is there a specific breathing technique in running? Because I've seen a lot of people struggle with, they don't breathing.
Yes.
I think the first thing people struggle with is breathing.
Yes.
And footwork. Those two.
Yes.
Is there specific...
The issue of breathing when you're running is very, very, very controversial, and there's always a big debate around it.
Okay.
So for me, I always go with what I have read and what
works for you.
What works for me, what I have read, because most of the information I give out there is out of reading and out of research from what other coaches have
tried and
tested. And with now the technology, the way it is, technology right now, everyone out there has an opinion. But there's one thing I've come to learn for myself from what I've read and from experience from the coaching. Number one, before now you even go to why you breathe, how you breathe. Why do you breathe? Why do you breathe when you're doing an activity?
Just to fuel the muscles with oxygen.
Yes, oxygen. The main thing is get oxygen into your system, and the other one is to get the carbon dioxide out of your body. And actually, when you're running, you find that when the breathing, oxygen is readily available, but carbon dioxide is coming out of your body. So what when you're doing the breathing, I can say what the meaning that is happening is you're getting carbon dioxide out of your body because it needs to get out of your body. Yeah, oxygen is readily available, so you just breathe in and you get oxygen. But carbon dioxide, your muscles are working hard, so you need to get it out. So you have to look for the most effective way to do it. So that's why I always say the first thing is breathe with your mouth. Yeah, in and out. Oh, with your mouth,
because even the demand is higher.
Yes, and with your mouth, you get out more.
Oh,
yes. Breathe in and out through your mouth, because through your mouth you're able to get out more. Another thing is breathing out with your mouth is you're able to control your breathing. That's number 2. You're able to control your breathing. Number 3, breathe from your abdomen, not from your chest.
Okay.
When you breathe from your chest, it's
panting, more
panting,
panting.
more
Yeah.
of panting.
Mm.
When it's coming out from your abdomen,
It is controlled.
Oh. You're taking in more. You see, you're taking in more, and you're able to let out more. When you're breathing from your chest, it's you're panting basically. So what you're taking in and out is minimal.
Okay.
But when it's from your abdomen,
you're able to
get in more and get out the carbon dioxide. More of it.
Okay.
Number 3, have a rhythm. And use your steps. Use your steps to come up with your rhythm. And when it comes to easy running like a warm-up. Warm-up is very, very easy. You're doing a warm-up, a 3x3 is effective.
Okay.
A 3x3, I mean you make 3 steps, breathing in, and 3 steps,
you breathe out. Oh, so that's 3x3.
Yes, 3x3.
So 3 steps you breathe in.
Yes.
3 steps, another 3 steps you breathe out.
You breathe out.
Ah.
So you count your steps, breathe in, breathe out. For an easy run and a moderate paced run, a 2x2 works.
Okay.
So 2 steps in,
you breathe in.
2 steps
in, you
2
breathe
steps out. Yes.
Okay.
But now when you're doing a very, very, very fast run, like when you're about to finish your race, and you need to do a dash to finish.
Home stretch, yeah.
Yes. Now that's when you can do a 2x1 or a 1x1.
Okay.
Yes. Yes.
Oh, that's a good strategy.
Yes.
So, Dedan, how do you recover from a run? Because I remember,
yes,
the biggest challenge. I used to love running,
yes,
but now when I think about recovering,
yes,
then it was a challenge.
Okay, when it comes to recovery, I think the major mistake, and I will say the major mistake runners make, which now goes all the way now to recovery, which affects the recovery, is runners run fast all the time. Yes. So runners run fast all the time. Fast or moderate.
Okay.
Yes. That's the biggest mistakes. One of the biggest mistakes. Actually, the biggest mistake runners make.
Running fast all the time.
Running fast all the time or running moderately all the time.
Okay.
Yeah. And this is the gospel I've been preaching to people. The only way running is sustainable is if you're running easy 80% of the time.
Okay.
Yes.
Then 20%?
20%, that's when now you incorporate the fast, the intervals, the tempos.
The tempo.
Yes.
Tempo run. Basically, tempo run, if you're listening, is the interval running. Maybe you're sprinting 100 meters, walking 100 meters, or jogging.
Yes. Intervals is a short burst of speed, of sprint. So intervals start from, like for us, we usually do intervals from like a kilometer. So a kilometer fast. And then you take 90 seconds. You stop for 90 seconds to recover.
You stop completely, or you walk, or you jog?
You can stop completely.
Okay, or you can walk.
You can walk.
Okay.
You can jog. And then now you do another
1 kilometer?
1 kilometer.
Fast. That's your interval.
Okay. The intervals can go from 1,000. For me, my favorites are 1,000. 800. 800s are very, very tough. 800s are two laps in a track. Then you have the 100 meters.
100 meters.
You have 400 meters.
400 meters is one lap.
400 meters, 200 meters, 100 meters. You can, depending on what the coach wants to achieve, he will give you the intervals he wants you to do. Those are the intervals. The tempo is a continuous run that is done at a comfortably fast pace. Comfortably hard.
Okay.
Yes. Tempos are very tough because it's a continuous run. You're not stopping, but you're running at a very, very, very at a high speed, but comfortably hard. Something you can maintain. We say tempo run is the tempo pace is the pace at which you can maintain for an hour. Okay. Yes.
So, Dedan, you're saying,
yes,
if you're a runner and you're always running fast all the time,
Yes.
you're doing it wrong.
Yes.
So it's supposed to be 80% easy pace,
Yes.
then 20% interval. So does this happen during the same run, or you choose specific days of doing this tempo run and specific days for doing the 80% slow running?
You pick specific you do them specific days.
Oh, okay.
So let's say, for example, you're running 4 times a week or 5 times a week. If you're running 5 times a week, those 4 times should be easy.
Okay, 4 times.
Yes, 4 times should be easy, and then one
day of tempo.
Yes, 1 day of tempo or intervals.
Okay.
You can also mix. You can also, like, for example, the day you're doing a tempo or an interval, part of it is easy running, because the warm up is easy running. So you might find your session is 1 hour.
Okay.
15 minutes is warm up. 30 minutes fast workout, the fast workout. And 15 minutes cool down. Yes.
Okay.
So this cool down and warm up is still easy.
Okay.
Yes. But most of the time, most of the runs, actually like 80% of your runs should be easy. And easy is conversational pace. Yes, that's how you
conversational pace. You mean you can talk.
You can talk
easily.
Yes.
Yes.
You can talk easily.
You can afford to talk to someone.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. That's what we call easy running. So what happens now, and that's why you find people start running, and then 1 month, 2 months down the line, they stop running, because you find the biggest mistake we make is we run fast all the time. It's not sustainable.
Okay.
Because you run fast today, you are too tired. Tomorrow you're not able to run.
Okay.
But if you do an easy run today, you can comfortably wake up tomorrow and run again.
Okay.
Actually, I always tell people, run like you want to run tomorrow, and finish your easy run feeling like you can do the same run again.
Okay.
Yes.
Oh, you're not supposed to exhaust yourself.
You're not supposed to exhaust yourself.
Okay.
And for people who have the watches, there's what we call zone 2 and zone 3 running. Yeah, where your heart rate is low.
Okay. Low, you mean below?
Low. It depends. Of course, depends with the age, but you're able to run below 120,
160.
Below, let's say below 140, around 140 to 130, depending on your age. Okay. Your easy run, your heart rate should not be above that. Should be above 145. Should be below that.
140.
Yeah, below that.
Okay.
So,
and for the tempo run,
that's
when you're looking at 160 and above.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So heart rate is one way in which you can measure the intensity of the run. Okay. So most of the time you should do your running easy. And now when you do your running easy, it's easier for the body to recover. Oh. Yes. But when it comes to recovery, I always say the big 3. I always give people the big 3. The big 3 recovery methods: sleep, hydration, and nutrition. Yes.
Does this hydration include supplementation or maybe electrolytes or something?
Yes.
Do you supplement?
Yes.
Okay.
Depends. Now that one also depends. There are 3 substances in which, as a runner, you can take in. Of course, the major one is water. The second one is carbohydrates. Yeah. The third one is electrolytes. Yes. But now this depends with the intensity of the run, the duration of the run, then the environment, the weather. So you find if you're doing a short like 1 hour run, all you need to do is take your water. You don't need to add anything else. If you're doing a marathon, then you need to supplement all the 3. You need to have water, you need to have electrolytes, you also need to have your carbohydrates. That's why we have things like gels. Energy gels. We have things like, you can take a banana, you can take a watermelon, you can take dates, because your body, when you're doing a marathon, what the calories you have in your body can only last you for 2 hours. And maybe you're running a marathon for 3 hours, 3 plus hours.
Yeah.
So you need to supplement. You're sweating. And when you're sweating a lot and it's a hot day, as you're losing water and at the same time you're losing sodium. So you need to supplement your sodium. So depending on the intensity, the duration, the weather, then that is what determines how which substances now you take and how and how you're able to how much you're supposed to take in.
So apart from the gels, electrolytes, do you guys do whey protein after running
for recovery? For recovery, yes. There are people who do that. There are people who supplement that way. But I believe a normal balanced diet works.
Okay.
Yes.
So even you don't do like caffeine before runs?
Not really. Not really. So depends with it's personal preference.
Okay.
Like for me, before a race, a major race, I will have my oats and a cup of tea, a cup of strong tea. I will have my gels, like if I'm doing a marathon. My gels, I use USN or USN electrolytes or what are they called? This one for kids, ORS.
Oh,
yes, I put ORS into my water for sodium.
It's
high in salt.
Salt
and sodium. So runners use a lot of ORS.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's personal preference. Personally, I don't do whey protein. For me, it's food. Yeah, I do a lot of legumes. So like when we are not training seasons are usually very, very hard when you're training for a race.
Oh, there's a different diet for when you're prepping for a major run and normal runs.
Yes, when you're prepping, like I'll give you an example. Right now you're not prepping for a race. So it's just normal running. So my average kilometers this week that I've covered is 66 kilometers.
66.
Yes.
In how many days? Like
like this tomorrow I'm not running, is resting.
Okay.
So this is for the week.
Oh, okay.
When I'm preparing for a race, a major race, like I'll give an example. The other day we were preparing for Kilimanjaro marathon. My mileage goes up to 150 kilometers in a week. Yeah, that's a lot of mileage.
That's a lot of
mileage, and that's a lot of energy requirement for the body. So you need to find a way of upping your nutrients intake to cater for all the energy requirement. So for me personally, I do a lot of legumes. Yeah, the njahes, the beans. Yes,
all kind of beans.
Okay.
Why?
Mbaazi.
They are easier to digest, or
no? Basically, they're more nutritious.
Release energy slowly.
They're more complex. More. You see, the njahes and the beans have a lot of carbs actually.
Yes. Yeah.
So actually, they have more carbs than even proteins.
True.
So what I do is, instead of taking the ugalis and the chapatis, so my carbohydrate source is the njahe, the legumes.
The njahe,
the njahe and the beans. And then of course on top of that, I'll add my meat, my white meat, the normal meat now to increase the protein. Yeah, because I realized if I do a lot of ugali, a lot of chapatis, it doesn't really work for me.
Okay.
But now when I do the beans, I'm fuller for longer.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. For breakfast, I do a lot of for now breakfast when I'm preparing for a race, because of the high energy requirements. I do a lot of oats. I do a lot of ngwashes, ndomas. I actually eat even food.
Like in the morning.
Like remember when I'm training for anytime I'm training for a race, you'll find most of my breakfast I take njahe and beef and greens. That's my breakfast.
Wow.
Because if I take bread, by 10,
you're hungry.
I'm hungry.
For carbohydrate loading,
yes,
this is like 2 days before a run or 1 day before a run. What do you do for what do you take for carbohydrate loading? Basically, if you're listening, carbohydrate loading, I think for the runners, what they do, this is the phase where like you are taking in more carbohydrates to fuel your body for like tomorrow's marathon. Maybe you're doing a marathon the following day, or not necessarily a full marathon, maybe a half marathon. So what do you take for, what's your carbohydrate loading look? What does it look like?
Now that's another, when it comes to carbo loading, that's also another very, how can I put it? Very, very controversial topic. The way I look at it, a few days before the race, you have reduced your mileage. Yeah. And the fact that you have reduced your mileage, you have reduced
your work rate,
and your energy requirement. Like the week before the race, you cut your mileage by 50%.
So if you're used to doing 100 kilometers every week, now you're doing 50.
Yes. Okay. And this 50 will include even the race mileage. So you find the week before the race, the race is on a Sunday, and you will do a 42-kilometer race. So you find Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, you do very, very short runs. Yeah. So you find the mileage you will accumulate for the race day will be 50% of what you had done the previous week. So since your energy requirement has gone down,
you
don't really need
to do carbohydrate loading.
Up your carbohydrate intake.
Okay.
If you take what you had taken next week, it's even actually
more than enough.
Yes, more than enough.
Okay.
So for me, what I usually do is I continue eating normally, because since the load for that week has reduced and I'm still eating the way I was eating when the load was high, then I don't need to up. Yes.
So Dedan, you've not mentioned anywhere to do anything to do with meat on your diet while you're prepping. You don't do any...
I do meat.
You do meat?
I do meat for the proteins.
Boiled eggs?
I do out eggs.
Okay.
Yes. I do eggs, red meat, white meat. What happens is when you're training for a race, you need to plan. If you don't plan, then you'll fail. So when we're doing the training now for a full marathon, you have also to plan for your meals.
Okay.
Like for me, I plan for my meals. I do bulk cooking on Sunday. So on Sunday, I know I have my carbs, I have my proteins, my vegetables. I also have my breakfast. Because if you don't plan, then and all the mileage you're doing, then at some point you'll end up suffering.
Okay.
So you need to do. I always do my meal prepping on Sundays, and then I know for the week, I am sorted.
Okay.
Yes, and it's balanced diet. Yes.
Nice.
Yes.
So how do you prevent injuries and?
Wow,
because
that's a big
because
one,
I've seen there's a lot of let's say injuries related with recreational runners, elite runners.
Yes.
How do you prevent that? Because you already know you can easily suffer from maybe a shin splits or hamstring, groin, knee, runner's knee.
Yes.
How do you prevent that?
When it comes to injuries, I think 70-80% of runners get injuries at some point. And there are three main causes of injuries. I think 2 or 3. Number one is training errors. Training errors is actually the biggest. Training errors.
No, this is not even the rest day.
Yes.
It's training.
Training errors. How you train.
Overtraining.
Training errors, I mean doing too much too soon.
Too soon.
Yes. Running fast all the time. Not recovering. Yeah. That's the major. Like you do speed back to back. You do a lot of mileage all at once. Your body will not be able to adapt to that.
Okay.
So that's the major.
That's the major
cause of injuries.
If you follow a good running routine or a program,
yes,
the likelihood of injuries are few.
It goes down.
Okay.
So that's the number one. Training errors is number one. Number two, we have what we call biomechanical imbalances. That's where you find someone has, like the way I'm saying,
the foot positioning.
Yes, foot positioning. There are people who have shorter limbs. Yeah. There are people who maybe have weak glutes.
Okay.
Yeah. And when it comes to mechanical imbalances, the best way to avoid that is strength training.
So even runners do strength training?
Yes.
Okay.
Runners don't like doing strength training.
They
don't like.
But it's necessary.
It is necessary. It is, for me as a coach, that is something that I preach every day.
How many times a week will you recommend strength training?
You just need to do 2 or 3 times.
2 or 3, yeah?
Yes. One thing about runners is when it comes to baseline strength, runners are very, very poor.
Okay.
Tell a runner to do push-ups here.
They can do a push-up.
Can do push-up. Tell a runner to do a plank.
They can do a plank.
They'll do a plank for 15 seconds. Tell a runner to do a squat. Yeah. Very, very poor. When it comes to baseline, that baseline, when it comes to fitness, is that baseline strength. A core strength, the squat, the lunge,
upper body strength.
Runners are very, very poor in that.
And that's what they should invest in most.
Yes.
The
strength training. That's something I preach to runners every day. All my programs have strength training program.
Yeah, I've seen some of the workouts you do. They are very interesting.
Yes.
And I was actually I was intrigued. I saw you doing strength training quite often. I was like, this guy is a runner, but he's enjoying with training. But it was good because you need to strengthen some muscles.
You see, running is a repetitive sport. Yeah. You can imagine. Just guess how many steps does a runner make in a minute?
Approximately in a minute.
Yes.
Let's say, can we do 1,000?
In a minute.
In a minute, maybe less than 100.
In a minute, a runner makes around 180.
Okay.
It's usually between 160 and the people who are we call it cadence. Cadence is basically the number of steps you make
in a minute.
So most runners have a cadence of between 160 and 190.
190. Okay.
Yes, so depending on how you run, if you have a longer stride, you do less.
If you have a shorter stride, you do more.
Yes.
So between 160 and 190.
Yes.
Okay.
So if running is a very repetitive sport, so if you're making 180 steps in a minute, half of the time in 1 minute, your whole body weight is on your one leg. So multiply that by a 2 hours run.
Okay.
So you can imagine the amount of weight you're putting on your leg for 2 hours.
For 2 hours.
It's your basically your body weight.
Body weight, yeah.
Yes. And most runners, average age of most recreational runners, when they start running in their early 30s or late 20s. That's when people start running. That's when people start getting fit through running. And most of these people have no background in fitness. They've been living sedentary lifestyles. Yeah, you've been sitting the whole day in the office. You've never worked out. So you're starting running with weak glutes, weak calves, hamstrings, all that.
Okay.
So what does that do? And it's running and then you come in. You have no guidance, so you start piling up mileage. Yeah, it gets to a point where now your legs cannot be able to accommodate all the stress you're putting it under. You get injured.
Okay.
So that's why strength training now comes in for runners.
Okay.
And there's specific strength training for runners. Because for runners, you need strong quads, you need strong glutes, you need strong calves, you need hamstring. Your feet need to be strong, a bit of core, a bit of upper body. So it's very important for you as a runner to do strength training. Strengthen your quads, strengthen your calves. The stronger you are as a runner, the more long-lasting runner you are.
Okay.
Yes, the more you can be able to run for a very, very long time without getting injured. Most of these injuries runners get is because
there's a weak muscle.
There's a weak muscle.
Okay.
If there's a weak muscle, there's another muscle compensating for that. Yes. Like I always tell runners, if your calves, your ankle and your feet are the first contact point to the ground. So if your calf is weak, so if your ankle is weak, if your feet is weak, it transfers all that to the knee,
hip
joint. You see, because the movement will start from
even somehow lower back.
Exactly, lower back.
Okay.
So you will find most of the workouts I give runners, and sometimes they ignore. They think, you're giving me a workout for the for the ankle. Why? But they don't understand that that's the first point of contact. If you have a weak ankle, you will step on a stone and you will not be your calf will not be strong enough
to hold you there.
So you need to start with your ankles going up. So you'll find a lot of exercise that I give runners are ankle strengthening, calf strengthening, the things we call the tibialis. Tibialis is this muscle here that, like when you're going down, it's the main muscle that now controls the body. So you find some of those exercises you might see they look very simple and very weird, but they are very, very important.
They're very effective.
Very effective, yes.
So Dedan,
yes.
For a beginner, for somebody who want to really master running, how soon should they increase their pace? Is it weekly or is it daily? How soon should they increase their pace? Like a beginner.
Yes. Beginner, yes.
Let's say every Monday you're doing 2 kilometers.
Yes.
Every Wednesday 2 kilometers.
Yes.
Every Friday 2 kilometers or less.
Yes.
So how soon, depending with your speed, how soon should you increase pace and distance?
When it comes to beginners, I think that's how can I put? I want to put it in the best language. The way beginners come in, they come in looking at number one, pace and distance. For me, I think that's not the right way of doing it. For anyone who comes in to me for a program, and actually all my programs are not distance based. Yeah, they're not distance based, and I don't in any way. I don't recommend, and I don't in any way mention pace at any point.
Oh, why is that? Because of the injury. That's where the injury gap.
That's how injuries come in.
Okay.
So what I do is I'm giving you a program. It's purely time based. So I want you to 3 times a week. I want you to start by doing a 45 minutes easy run 3 times a week. Yeah. You see, number one, there's no pressure of distance. Yeah. There's no pressure that you need to go do 10 kilometers. Yeah. So what I want you to do 45 minutes
run
3 times a week.
Monday, Wednesday, Friday.
Maybe on Saturday you do a longer one. Saturday, do a 60 minutes.
60 minutes.
60 minutes.
That's approximately, maybe that's more than 5 kilometers.
Now
that's a long run.
Yes.
Okay.
That's a long run. Long run starts from 90. But now for someone who is starting, you can't give them 90 immediately.
Okay.
So what happens is depending on their capabilities, they will do what they can in those 45 minutes.
Okay.
There's one runner who will come in that 45 minutes, they can do 7 kilometers. That's their capability. Someone else for that 45 minutes will do 5 kilometers. That's based on their capabilities. After 2 weeks, I say, I want you to do 60 minutes on Saturday, you do 90. Yeah? Someone will do, depending on their capability, they do what they can. They can.
Okay.
That way, there's no pressure of distance.
Okay.
First, you are allowing your body and your mind to get used to the running.
And adjust slowly. Okay.
Depending on your abilities.
So it's better to work with time.
Okay. The challenge that comes with distance, I'll give you an example. Yourself, you said you can do 10 kilometers in 58 minutes.
The last time I did, actually it was in just before November last year.
Yes. So let's
that was.
So if I say distance, let's say for example I give person A 10 everyone 10 kilometers. Yeah. Person A will do 10 kilometers
in 1 hour 30 minutes.
Right?
Okay.
Person 2 will do 10 kilometers in 1 hour. Person 3 will do 10 kilometers
sub 30 or maybe less.
Yeah. Let's say it's an easy run, so it might be slower. Let's just say 45 minutes.
45 minutes.
Yes. Between the three, who has done more work?
I think the one who's done 1 hour 30.
Yes. Because this person has been in the sun for those extra 30 minutes. They have been on the tarmac on the road. You see, they've spent more time doing the 10 kilometers.
But if you give them 1 hour,
you do what you can
in that 1 hour.
If
you can do 10k or 15k, it's fine.
Yes, it's fine.
Okay.
Because at the end of the day, I always tell people, the body does not understand distance. Yeah, the body does not understand. The body has no way of understanding distance. The body understands effort. Effort, or let's say stress. And effort and stress are a product of two things: intensity and the duration of the activity.
Okay.
So if the intensity, and those two things are inversely proportional. So if it's an easy run, and both of us do an easy run for 1 hour, your easy pace is different from my easy pace.
Easy pace, true.
Yes. Both of us have done 1 hour easy running at our own individual paces, depending on our capabilities. We have done the same thing. If it's a tempo run, we are doing a tempo run for 30 minutes. The speed is high. Yeah? And your tempo pace is 6 minutes per kilometer.
6 minutes.
My tempo pace is 4 minutes per kilometer. And we have done 30 minutes of that. At the end of the day, the body will understand the effort.
Okay.
Yes, whether I have done, in those 30 minutes, I have done 8 kilometers, someone else has done 6 kilometers. We have done the same work.
Okay.
That's how the body has no way of understanding distance. The body will understand effort. Okay. And effort depends on the duration of the activity and the intensity. The harder the intensity, the shorter the time of the workout.
Okay.
The lower the intensity, like for an easy run, the longer the duration. So for you to be able to cater for people with different capabilities, working with time is usually the best way. And you don't get to disadvantage the slower people.
Okay.
Yes. Because that's what happens. Someone is starting to run and you're telling them to go do a 10 kilometers run. That person will do 10 kilometers in 1 hour, 30 minutes. Someone else will go do it in 1 hour. the person who is doing 1 hour 30 minutes is at a disadvantage. And after 2-3 runs, they will not be able to recover. Yeah, they'll be able to recover. They'll be discouraged. Yes.
So, hey, I've learned a lot, Dedan.
Thank you.
I've learned ways of mastering my run.
Yes.
There's so many things I was doing wrong.
Yeah. So just go out. I always say, like, for me. And then another thing I always say is you don't know how you will wake up. Yeah. And most of us have 8 to 5 jobs. Yeah. We have families. We have other responsibilities. Some days, on a certain day, you will be too tired. You will wake up tired. And if on that day, what is assigned in the program is a 10K run, it will be very, very hard for you to complete that 10K run. Because you have other things. Stress, stress is everything. Stress is your job. Your job is giving you pressure. Your family is giving you pressure. But when you say, go do an easy run, 60 minutes. 60 minutes. Today you might go out. You're not very, very well recovered. You might go do 7 kilometers. Another day you wake up very fresh. Your 60 minutes ends up being 9 kilometers. Yes. Okay. So easy running depends on how you're feeling on that day. It's not pace in any way, pace determined. It's basically how you're feeling on that day.
Okay.
Yes.
So then, how do you recover from a bad injury, like a runner's knee?
Yes.
How do you recover?
Yes.
Because not necessarily runner's knee.
Yes.
So many injuries that are bad.
Yes.
Then they put you down for like a month or so, or 6 weeks.
Yes.
Once you've done rehab, you're 100%. Yes. But there's this PTSD. Yeah? You're afraid of doing what you did, or you're afraid of running again. So this one comes from one of my clients called Edwin.
Yes.
Edwin Wahome.
Yes.
He was doing road running for so long, so he got a runner's knee. Ever since.
Yes.
No, at Nyayo he can do a solid 25 kilometers. That's 10K, right?
Yes.
A solid. Actually, when you're doing running, he will come like around 5 a.m. He will do his solid 25 laps. Yes. He will finish before everyone else.
Yes.
He's very comfortable on that surface, but when it comes to tarmac, he's dreading to run on tarmac again or outside. How do you overcome that kind of fear now?
That's a very hard question. I think the number one thing is you need to come back progressively. Yeah, progressively, and like myself, I've suffered very, very many injuries. I think I've suffered. I have had Achilles. I've had plantar. I've had an IT band. The thing is, number one, you learn from all these things. One thing I always say is, don't force it. Yeah. Let it come. Let it come slowly. If you've been out with an injury, get back slowly. Yeah. Build your mileage easily. Build your confidence, because now one thing about injuries is that it hits your confidence.
True.
Yeah, it hits your confidence. You're not where you were. So come back slowly. Yeah, build your confidence slowly. Start doing strength. Strength training is one thing that we all need to do as runners. Start doing strength training. If you know you had an issue with your calves, start strengthening your calves.
Issue with knee, you strengthen the muscles around the knee.
Strengthen the muscles around the knee.
Okay.
Yes. And yeah, definitely strengthen the muscles around the knee. Work on your mobility, flexibility. Because sometimes those issues come from the joints. Your ankle is not mobile enough. So transmits all that to the knee and to the hips. Hips are also very important for runners. Make sure you make sure you do mobility workout for runners. Those are the things that runners don't like doing. Yet, actually, I always say, what you do around running is what makes you a better runner.
Okay.
Yeah. If you have 50 minutes, if you have an hour, let's say you have an hour to go for your activity, make sure you divide that 1 hour effectively.
Warm up.
Do your warm up 5 minutes, your main run, and then after that, do your stretching.
Your cool down.
Cool down. So those are what makes you a better runner is what you do around running. Okay. Because runners don't like warming up.
They don't like stretching.
They don't like strength training. They don't like recovery. You know you have a 2 hours run tomorrow. You don't want to get enough sleep. Yeah. So basically, what you do around your running is what makes you a better runner.
Okay.
And I always give an example with myself. I think I'm getting now to almost 20 months running without an injury.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you've learned how to walk around.
Yes.
And how to do strength training, to incorporate strength training.
How to run easy, because running easy. You know, there's I don't know whether you've heard of Strava. You've heard of Strava?
Yeah, Strava.
Strava is the running app. Yeah. That's the app where runners record their runs. It's like the Facebook of runners, I can say. So you do your run, you post your run there. So there's this thing about Strava. Strava has leaderboards. Strava shows you how you've run, your pace. Runners are obsessed by Strava. And the faster you run, the more kudos. You call them kudos. Kudos is a like of Strava.
Oh.
So when you run, you're given kudos. So runners are obsessed by Strava. They're obsessed by Strava. There's something called the leaderboard in Strava. So every week, if you're in a group or a club, they're called Strava clubs. You can see who has the highest mileage.
Okay. Covered in a week.
There's also the pace. So when you do this very, very fast run, you'll get very, very many kudos. So Strava makes people think all about pace.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that's a huge mistake. If
you do an easy run that your pace is uko chini, no one will give you'll get very few kudos.
But you're making good progress.
Yes. So I always tell runners, Strava is good, but this obsession with leaderboard, just leave it. Run slow most of the time. So like for me, the last 20 months, I've been able to consistently run, covering around 300 kilometers every month. Like last year, I did 4,000 kilometers for the year. And that is without an injury.
The whole of last year?
Yes.
You did 4,000?
4,000.
Within 12 months?
Yes. That's an average of 400 kilometers every month.
That's solid, eh?
Yes. That's a lot of mileage. So now when majority of that is easy, when you do strength training at least 2-3 times a week, when you do the warm up and the cool down, it's sustainable. Yeah. But now the thing with runners is you run too fast, you get an injury, you stay out for a month or 2. Yeah. Coming back, it's such starting from scratch.
Square one.
Yes. So if you can incorporate all these things around your running, then it makes your running journey easier.
Okay.
Your gains it's better when you're running consistently than when you run.
Then you stop.
Okay. You have to start again. But I'd rather you run 300 kilometers every month for a whole year than do 500 and then
you'll be out for 6 months.
Yes.
So Dedan,
yes,
I needed to clarify, because to us normal people, we can hardly differentiate between a recreational runner and elite. So if Eliud Kipchoge is covering 500 kilometers per month, and you're covering 400 kilometers per month, to me a difference of 100 is nothing. So I'm like, hey, this guy is gonna. So what's the difference between a recreational runner and elite runner?
Actually, Kipchoge can.
He can do more than 500.
I've been lucky to. I've gone to E10. I've been lucky to be. I've gone to E10 and train with elites for a week. Elite runners do like around 200 kilometers per week.
Per week.
Yes.
200. Okay.
So you can imagine in a month they've done like 800 kilometers in a month. Average recreational runner does between 150. Actually, let's say 100 and 150 kilometers.
100 and 150. That's a recreational runner. So that means you're doing 35, 40
per week.
Kilometers per week.
Yes. The recreational runners who you'll find doing, like myself, doing like up to 400, 500 kilometers during training season, we are very, very few. Very, very, very few. Like let's say, for example, 10%. 10%. But majority of recreational runners, because I see this from the trainings I do, majority of recreational runners will do let's say 50 kilometers in a week. Yes, those are like 4 or 5 runs in a week. So majority, let's say between 50 kilometers, 60 kilometers. So in a month, that's between 150 and 200
kilometers.
Yes. So the main difference between elite and recreational, number one is genetics.
Oh.
Yes.
Wow, okay.
Number one, the biggest difference is genetics.
They have an added advantage.
Yes, an added advantage. Things like what we call the VO2 max. I don't know if you've heard of VO2 max. An elite runner will have a VO2 max almost 70.
Okay.
Yeah. VO2 max is measured by kg per milliliters. That's the amount of oxygen they can take in. They can take in and utilize in the body, the VO2 max. Genetically, an elite runner has a VO2 max of 75.
Genetically?
Yes. It's in them. It's genetic. That's for male. For female, you'll find it's around 65. That's their VO2 max. So that's genetic. So that's not something that... that's something God given. For us recreational runners, normal people, you find the recreational runners with the highest VO2 max is basically around 55, majority 55 to 60 on the higher side. Even getting to 60 is difficult. Is difficult. Yes, so genetics is the first thing that differentiates
a recreational
runner
elite.
And elite.
Okay.
Yes. And then of course, genetics comes even with their makeup, their body types and all that.
Yeah, because if you look at them, their body type is like the same,
Yes.
All of them.
Yes, all of them. So genetics is the main thing. Yes. Genetics is the main.
And also the fact that they are doing it maybe 3 times a day.
For you see, for them it's a profession. It's work. It's work. So most of the time they do double runs. Yeah.
In a day. So you're talking about solid kilometers in the morning.
Yes, a recovery run in the evening. Yes, but even us as recreational runners, we do that. Like when you're training for a race, you do a run in the morning and another one in the evening. Yes.
So you manage to do all this after 8 to 5 work.
Yes, you have to
create
time. Yeah, you wake up at 4, you do your run, and then in the evening, after work, you do your 45 minutes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh.
But the main difference between elite and recreational is basically genetics. Them, they are made like that. As on the other end, we are even on the recreational side, you'll find there are those who are more genetically more genetically better than others.
Oh, there's a few who are.
Yes, you'll find someone is a recreational runner, but genetically they are on the higher scale. Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So it's purely genetics, and then there are those who are just normal, normal people.
So as we come to an end, there is I'll ask you 3-4 questions.
Yes.
These are not by any chance related to the topic.
Okay.
This topic, it's just general questions.
Yes.
So 3 books you'll recommend to our audience.
Wow. Do they have to be running?
Not necessarily running. Any kind of book that you think can change our listeners' maybe perspective or mentality, attitude, or anything.
Wow.
Or something that can make somebody maybe have a good time reading it.
I'm not a very good reader. I think the books I mostly read are books to do with running. But I think the last book I read, it's related to sports. It's the Alex Ferguson autobiography.
Oh, the former Manchester United coach. Eh?
Yes.
Nice.
That was a very interesting book I read. And of course, for Manchester United fans, you can relate to all the stories. So that's the last book I think I read.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
What maybe 3 or even 2 or 1 a documentary or a movie or you would recommend to?
Wow.
This one should be easy. I watched Breaking 2 by Kipchoge. That was an interesting one.
Okay. There's one called Gun Runners. It's a movie, yeah. Gun Runners. It's a very nice movie. And then there's another one called Coach Carter. Yes. It's an old movie. Very nice.
About running, eh?
No, that's about basketball.
Sports. Okay.
Yeah.
I think I've heard about it.
Yes.
But I really enjoyed the Breaking 2.
Yes.
Hey, that was tough, eh?
That
was good.
There's also another one, the other one by Will Smith, the one for Serena, and it's a new series. It's a new movie I watched.
King Richard.
Yes.
King Richard.
Yes.
Nice.
Yes.
I've not heard about it.
Yeah, you should. That one is also very, very interesting.
Okay.
Yeah.
What one question you wished I could have asked you, and how could you have answered? What maybe I've forgotten about something. What is there something you wished I could have asked?
Wow.
Or maybe I've covered all the areas.
I think
we've covered all the areas.
I think maybe one question is maybe the biggest mistakes runners make. But I think in a way we've answered that. Or maybe why do people run? Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Where should our listeners find you online? Not for me personally, I follow you and I really enjoy the kind of workouts, kettlebell workouts you post quite often. I wanted to ask you, hey, you really love kettlebells, you don't do dumbbells.
I love kettlebells.
Those workouts are really good.
I love kettlebells because kettlebells are very versatile.
They're versatile.
Yeah, there's a lot you can do with the kettlebell. I actually also did, you see, with the ACE, with ACE Fitness, you need to get those, they're called CEC, continuing education credits for them to be able to renew your course. So one of the courses I did was a kettlebell course. And very helpful, kettlebell, very, very helpful.
Okay.
So they can find me on Instagram. I'm very active on Instagram, DEDAN MIRICHO. They can also find me on Facebook.
Oh, Facebook.
Yes, DEDAN MIRICHO. I am not very active on Twitter. So Instagram and Facebook are very active. They can also reach me on email. My email address is dedan@dedanmiricho.com.
Okay.
My number is 0720 321 464.
Okay.
Yes.
So, listeners, if you're looking for a running coach, DEDAN is a certified running coach, and he will guide you through the art of running or how to master running. So, if you've been listening and you have questions, kindly share your questions in the comments section. Thank you so much for listening. See you on the next one.
Thank you.
This show was recorded and produced at Represented Studio in Nairobi, Kenya.